Hi, girls. Happy Friday. I wanted to just give you a little encouragement for the M step on Monday and tell you to relax. It's going to be just fine. I usually read this book to my entire class before we take the M step. It's called The Big Test. It's by Julie Dannenberg. And if you've ever listened to the story or had a teacher read to you First Day Jitters, a lot of like first grade or second grade teachers will read that to their class. This is the same class or the same teacher. So you might have a connection to that. But I want to read this story to you and just encourage you to just relax and, of course, try your best. I want you to understand that you're not going to know all the answers on the test, and that's okay. All right. This test doesn't have anything to do with your report card. It doesn't have anything to do with you going to fourth grade. All of you are going to fourth grade, so don't worry about that at all. When you get a little bit older, like in high school, and you do really well on these tests, that's always a possibility that colleges will give you what's called scholarship money toward college so that you don't have to pay as much money. So that's when it gets really important. But you just want to practice and you want to know how to take the tests and you want to make sure that you are just doing all the things you can do, getting a good sleep the couple nights before, having a good breakfast, right, the day of, drinking water, just trying to calm yourself down because I think the worst part about taking the test is that you don't know what to expect, right? And then when you're done, you're going to be like, that was it, right? Yeah, I didn't know everything, and that's okay, right? So don't worry about it. I will be there with you. Mrs. Petrowski will be there. We'll help you as much as we can with directions and with what to do. And it's just your chance to show what you know, right? And you're not going to know everything. We've had a strange couple of school years, right? You didn't get to finish second grade. And then third grade, here we are virtual. So it's very different, right? It's not like being with people in the same room. So give yourself a break, okay? And just enjoy this story. It's called The Big Test. I bet you might be feeling like that, okay? And if you are feeling like that, it's okay. I'm not feeling like that, and I'm not worried. I have all the faith in you. I know you're going to be fine. So just trust me. I've been through this quite a few times. It's going to be just fine. Mrs. Hartwell felt good, really good, really, really good. Now, you know, I would never have a class pet like that. All year long, her students had worked hard, learned lots, and had fun. And now, as the school year neared its end, Mrs. Hartwell told her students that they were ready to take the big test. Look at their faces. Ooh. Yuck, said Eddie. Double yuck, said Alexandra. Double, triple, quadruple yuck, said Josh. I hate tests. Look at I love you can see the sound, right? It makes when he's pounding his fist on the table. Mrs. Hartwell laughed. Don't worry. This test is just a chance to show how much you've learned. Like addition? Emily shouted out. And reading, said Maria. And science, Jack joined in. Mrs. Hartwell nodded in agreement. That looks like a fun science experiment. Leaning forward, she added, we still have one thing left to learn, though. The class was confused. But you said we were ready, Daniel said. You are, almost. But on a test, you also have to know how to show what you know, explained Mrs. Hartwell. It's the last thing we have to learn. It'll be fun. They seem confused, don't they? A little puzzled or perplexed. Look at his face. So, during reading time that morning, Mrs. Hartwell sent the students straight to their seats. Today we're going to practice our sitting still for long periods of time skill. I want you to read at your seat and work by yourself. Now, do you think she really did that? No, but that's kind of how he feels, right? Like he's just tied up and he can't do anything. You do have to sit still during these tests and you have to be focused. That doesn't sound like fun to me, Eddie grumbled as he took out his book. The class worked quietly. The reading part was easy. Sitting still without making a sound was hard. For Andy, it was impossible. But we can tell who Andy is. Right? So practicing, right, and being focused and sitting. During recess, while everyone else ran and played, Andy ran and played and worried. You can see on his face, you can tell by his body language. After recess, Andy's stomach hurt. He asked to go to the nurse. Okay, said Mrs. Hartwell sadly, but you'll be missing this afternoon's Let's All Read the Directions lesson. Andy didn't mind. Yes, you have to learn how to sit still, right, and be focused. You have to make sure you read all the directions. I would read them more than once. On Tuesday morning, Mrs. Hartwell said, Friday is the day of the big test. Since we don't want any bubble trouble when we take it, we're going to practice our fill in the bubble skills. So yours will be different because it's going to be digital online, right? But a while ago, we used to have to use pencil and paper and we had to fill in little circles, right, for the correct answer. You won't have to do that. You'll just have to make sure you pick the correct answer or you type in the correct information that you want to show your thinking. Everyone worked hard. Everyone did just fine. Everyone, that is, except Emily and Maria. By the time they were done working, Emily had a terrible headache, and Maria felt shivery all over. They asked to go to the nurse. Okay, said Mrs. Hartwell, looking concerned, but you're going to miss our morning of the test nutrition lesson. Emily and Maria took their pass and rushed out the door. They didn't seem to mind missing that, did they? Okay, eat good food. Nutritional breakfasts. On Wednesday morning, Mrs. Hartwell said, today we're going to take a practice test. Do we have to sit still for long periods of time? Asked Andy. Yes, said Mrs. Hartwell. Do we have to fill in bubbles? Asked Emily. And be sure to follow the directions? Asked Maria. Yes, you do. Mrs. Hartwell smiled encouragingly. Remember, this test is a chance to show what you know before the timer goes off. Now, remember, we've talked. We don't have a timer. We take as much time as we need, right? And if we don't finish it in kind of the time we're going to be together, we'll plan on another day and we'll finish it another day. Although most of the class did just fine, by the time the practice test was over, Daniel had gone to the nurse. As Mrs. Hartwell watched him go, she felt bad, really bad, really, really bad. And Wednesday afternoon, just before the bell, Mrs. Hartwell reminded everyone that tomorrow was the last day before the big test. Right? So it's Wednesday afternoon. So she's talking about Thursday. Remember, the test is going to be on Friday. We know, Eddie said grumpily. This big test is no fun. I can't wait for it to be over. All the other students nodded in agreement. As Mrs. Hartwell straightened up her desk, she said, tomorrow will be better. I promise. You notice what she's doing? She's throwing something in the trash. It says lesson plan. So she's throwing her teaching plans in the trash. Wonder what they're going to do on Thursday instead, the day before the test. When the students entered the classroom on Thursday, Mrs. Hartwell greeted them with a smile. You've all worked hard this year, learned lots, and had fun, right? She asked. Yeah, said the class. And this week we practiced how to show what you know, right? Right, said the class hesitantly. Now it's time for the most important lesson of all, said Mrs. Hartwell. The class groaned as she told everyone to line up. Look at their faces. Remember, this is the day before the test. Mrs. Hartwell walked her students down the hall. Everyone felt a little bit nervous. Mrs. Hartwell walked her students right up to the door of the library. Everyone felt a lot nervous. They gasped when she hung a sign on the library door. I feel sick, said Eddie. It says library closed, students testing. Mrs. Hartwell said, once you've learned what you can learn and know how to show what you know, well, It's time to stop worrying and just relax. Right? There comes a point when you know what you know, right? You can't cram anymore in your brain, right? It is what it is. So just relax and show what you know on the day of the test. Look at all the fun testing they're doing the day before. She's got a nice sign that says, you can do it. Good luck, right? Here's a taste test. So they've got lots of fun snacks. Here's the test pilot area. So they're making paper airplanes. Here's the test your strength. Look at that. They're lifting weights, but look what they're lifting. Those are balloons. Driver's test. Oh my goodness, you can see the cars on the shelf. And here are these students right here playing with the cars. Ooh, the test of time. Here's some different things for time, right? And clocks. And then make your own thinking cap, right? She made one that looks like a brain, look like party hats. This one's got I love this one. Oop, you can't even see that one. Let me move my paper, or page. This one's got a big light bulb on top of it. I like that. Okay, and they're on the ground playing some card games. Looks like they're playing a game of matching, or concentration, we call that. Right, and Mrs. Hartwell's got a big smile on her face. They're having a good time, right? They've practiced all week, kind of what they have to do, right? And now it's time to just relax because they know what they know. You can't really cram any more into that brain of yours. So the class did just that. And when the students finished the big test on Friday, they felt good. Really good. Really, really good. So remember, here are their paper pencil tests. We're doing ours online, digital, right? But they were prepared as much as they could be, right? They knew they had to learn to sit still. They had to try to focus. They had to read the directions, right? Have good breakfast, get some good sleep, right? And everything will be fine, okay? So I want you to, of course, try your best, right? And I will be there with you. Mrs. Petrowski will be there. But just trust that I've done it enough that everything will be fine, okay? I've never lost a student. You'll be fine. And I'm excited to see you on Monday morning, okay? We'll see you at 8:45.